So what I'll be doing today is I'll be installing my Ryzen 7 1800X CPU. Now, here it is. Now when you're installing this CPU, there is a little symbol here, looks like a little pyramid right at the end here, and on this CPU bracket here there's a little symbol at the corner right here, so you can align your CPU when you install it. And you do rest it in there like that, and it falls right in. And then latch this CPU holder down and it's in. Now I'll be using a Noctua NH U14S CPU cooler. So I'll have to remove these brackets here. And to let you guys know, when you buy a Ryzen 7, you do not get a CPU cooler. It's just a big box with the CPU in it. There's no CPU cooler in here. So I don't know why the box was so big from AMD. I don't know what they're trying to prove with that. But you do not get a CPU cooler with Ryzen 7. So make sure you have a CPU cooler ready to go. Take that bracket off and take the other one off here. And I bought this adapter. This is the adapter for the US. There's 3 different Noctuas that use the US, and this bracket is the one that fits them. You have to get this from Noctua. You can get it for free if you have proof of purchase for your CPU cooler. Okay? Now I'll be using the large bracket. And the way that I'll be doing mine is the smaller one you can go this way, but the larger one has to go this way with the larger ones. Okay? So, hit my bracket here, my 2 screws. There we go. Screw it down. Now for the other side. And I like these to be secured because my cooler is a nice size cooler. It's not real small, so I don't want any trouble. And it'll be a little tight. There you go. I tighten it so when I try to tighten it, the screwdriver just spins around on the screw head. So that means it's pretty good. You don't have to force it. I'm going to show you guys. This is how my cooler is going to be sitting. This is the setup I have. As you guys can see, the fan, I have a fan that's going to go here and the other fan's going to go in the back. And I have a pretty good room for all my RAM right here. So it's not going to be blocking my RAM. So, get out my Noctua heat spreading liquid here. You guys can see that. Comes with your CPU cooler. And I'm going to put a little dot right here in the center. Right there. That's good enough for me. You don't have to go crazy on it. There's also spreaders where you can spread it out, but I'll be doing the little dot. It's never failed me, so. Line this up here. With the two screw holes I have. Right. Make sure its screws are lined up when you're doing this part. Okay. And I go back and forth to keep it leveled. Right. I go back over here. Back over here. And it's on. You don't want to go too crazy and over tighten it or something. And your fan has the clips, and you just put the fan clips back on. I'll do the one right here. And there it is. And then you just plug it into your connector, which I have one right here. I have like 5 of these on this motherboard. So you can plug it in right here. And you're good to go. I'm going to be putting in my rear IO shield here. Oh, lights are bright here. Alright. Put that in here. It's in. Now we'll be installing the motherboard to the case here. Now with this case, it has an alignment pin in one of the motherboard holes. I don't really like that too much because it's, if you don't get it just right, it won't go in, but there it is. It's right down here. You guys probably can't see it, but it's a little pain. But that's in. And I will be installing my screws. That would be 8 screws, since one of those screws is taken up by the alignment pin. There'll be 8 in total. And I don't tighten down my screws when I first install them. I just get them in first. When I have all my screws in, then I will tighten down all my screws. Okay, now the rest of these in here. And it's also, I also recommend you guys have, well, this one's not aligned here. There it is. But this screwdriver I have has a magnetic tip. So that'll be one thing I recommend you guys have. It'll help you out in the long run. Alright, got a few more here and I'll be done with this. It's in the corner here. Tricky. Yep, here it is. Got it. Alright, put this last one in and then I'll tighten all of them up. Alright, and then now I will tighten all my screws up. I always wait to tighten them all up just in case one of these are not aligned right, so I can, you know, fix it if it's not. So that's why I always wait to tighten all my screws down. That's all taken care of. I'll tighten them all down. Hand tight. When the screwdriver stops, you know, you don't want to destroy your motherboard. Now, I'll go back around and make sure I got all of them, just in case I miss one. Got that. Alright, that's good. It's all good. It's good. Good. This one. This one. Alright, so they're all tightened down. Next, I'll be installing my RAM. And my RAM is a G-Skill Ripjaw. This is the V series. DDR4, and I have no idea if you guys can see this here. There's a glare, but they're DDR4 3200. My clock is 16, 16, 16, 36, and it's 1.35 volts. Okay. The first one is real close to my fan, so that might be my hardest one, but you first take these clips back here so you can get this aligned, and there's a little spot right here, and you can check all your lanes of your RAM to make sure you have those lined up, and you line it up here. And I always put one end in first. I'll put this end in first here, and since this is going to be my hardest one over here, it's going to be a little tough getting it in here, so there we go. And then when you push it all down, you'll hear that end clip in right here at this end. Now the rest of these should be pretty easy, I hope. There we go. There we are. That one's in also. On to the next one. There we go. And the last one. There we go. And that's down in there. Those are all tightly in. Now, this is the screw right here for my M.2 drive. And I will be using the second one from the back here. It's a little, oh, it's a little teeny screw, so you gotta be careful with this. Very small little baby screw. Jeez. They designed this little thing. It's just crazy. There we go. Got it. Thought I'd have to get out some tweezers for this thing. Okay. And here is my. This is the Western Digital Black 512 gigabytes NVMe drive. Now, get it out here. There it is. All right. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit. There we go. And it goes in right here, like that. Then you got this microscopic little teeny screw you have to put in. Good thing I have a little magnetic screwdriver here, or I'd probably give up on this thing. So small. There it is. And that's that. So, get my RAM in, the motherboard in, my NVMe SSDs in. I will be installing my power supply in my new gaming and editing PC that I'm building. So, let's get the connections we need here. The first one I'm doing is this 8-pin connection. This is for the graphics card attachment here. What you do, you go here and you can see here it says peripheral and SATA. So as you can see, there's SATA connections and there's peripheral connections. That's what the larger pin count is. So you plug it into the peripheral one, or the 8-pin, like that. Now, this is my CPU cable. I have 2 of these cables I'll be installing, so they all go in the same location. So I'll show you guys. Right here, where the CPU cables go. Put my first one in here. That's in. I have a second one right here. I'll be installing right next to it. There you go. The 2 CPU cables. Then I have the 24-pin. This is for your power connection. This one goes to the motherboard. And this one go to your power supply. I'll show you. As you can see right here at the bottom, it's for your ATX power supply. Here's what these 2 slots are here. Where the 2 cables go. First, the larger one goes here. Like that. And then the second one goes right next to it. Right there. And this is SATA cable, which they have. There's one right by itself right here. Plug that one right in there. And my power supply here is a certain model that Corsair makes that comes with a link right here. You plug this USB in, you guys can see it. That monitors your power supply, you control the fan, and it goes right to your USB header on the motherboard. Now, I got all that on my wires. I'm going to bolt it into the case now. Okay. And it uses 4 screws to bolt it down to your case. Okay. You can see there are 4 of them. These are Phillips head screws. Get you a Phillips head screwdriver. You'll be fine. Okay, I'm going to screw this in here. So make sure you have the screw holes lined up. Let me try to set it so you guys can see this. Okay. See right here. Okay, here we go. The holes. And the holes are right there, all 4. When you put it in the back, you can see them, and then you just have to line them up and put the screws in. This is hard with no camera guy. So there's the first 2. All right. The last one. Right, so that's 4. All right, let me get these tightened down here. All right, it's all tightened down. Oops. There we go, guys. Now that's how you install your power supply. I will be installing my graphics card and installing all my motherboard connectors. Let me zoom in here so you guys can get a better view. Okay. Now I'm going to be removing these little rear panels in the back. Move this over here. You guys get a view here, right here. These two in the back, I'll be removing these. All right. These two have been removed. Now I can install the graphics card. Now my CPU cooler is real close, as you guys can see. It's going to be real close. I'm putting it in the slot. I'm putting it in right here. It's the first X16 3.0 slot, PCIe. So this is where you usually want to put your graphics card, in the first one. Unless you're doing dual, then you put them in both of them. But the first slot. Now let's see if we can get this lined up here. And it's in. And guys, it's pretty close, but it's in there. I'll just have to put my two screws back in here. All right. Last one. And don't go too crazy on tightening it down. Just like what I do is I tighten it down until my screwdriver starts spinning on top. That's tight enough for me. Okay, now I have my graphics card in. Next, what I'm gonna do is connect these wires. As you can see, guys, there's some wires sticking out. These are all the wires from my motherboard that I haven't connected yet. I just ran them through my power shroud here. There's a hole in the power shroud. I just ran them through, and I have them sticking out because I haven't connected them yet. Okay. Okay, first one. Try to do so you guys can see this. Is this one, which goes to my graphics card, and it's an 8-pin. So you see there's one pin hanging, you just hold it together so it has 8 pins. Okay, then connect it. Yep. It's in. I got that in there. Next, this is going to be the one I want to do first here. Now these are for your motherboard header. You have your reset, your hard drive lights, power switch. Away here, and these are how you control it from your case. Your case, power switch, reset switch, indicator lights. That's what this is for. Now my motherboard came with this little adapter header here. where I can connect all my wires. So all I have to do zoom in a little bit here. You guys can see this. All I have to do is connect all these wires to this header, then connect it to the motherboard. Okay, I'm going to start here. Hard drive indicator here, and just connect it to my little header adapter here, right where it says. So this is helpful. It's easier to connect it, but sometimes your motherboard doesn't come with it and you have to connect these straight to the motherboard, wire by wire. But this little adapter helps. And then the next wire, it's on the other side. I turn it around, is the power switch over here. Then next is reset switch. It's on the other side, and it goes right here. And oops, these are the next two switches. These are LED wires here. There's a positive and a negative, and it's labeled with the positive and the negative, so you won't put it in wrong. It's labeled with that, and put that in like that, and that's done. And all you have to do is attach it to the motherboard. And on my motherboard, let me move it around here so I can get a good spot for it. These wires move around. It's right down on the bottom here on my motherboard. So I got to make sure wherever the pins are on here, it's the same how the pins on my motherboard. Like this one right here is missing one. Just line it up with the missing pin and attach it to your motherboard. My fan shroud's in my way here. I got it. All right. That's connected. I'm gonna move on to my audio cable. And just like my motherboard header that I had connection, it is a missing pin. As long as you guys locate where the missing pin is, you can line it up and attach it. Mine is, looks like it's on the top here. Oh no, there we go. Let's try this. On the top, and bam, it's connected. Okay. Next is, let's see what else I have here. Oh, I have my USB 3.0 cable, and I have another fan cable that I'll connect my USB 3.0 cable. It's a wide cable with a little groove. It's right on the front of my motherboard on the side next to my power supply shroud. Plug this one in. That one's done. Okay, And I have a fan connector right here. Down on the other side. You guys can't see in here because it's pretty cramped in my case. But this one's a 3-pin. And on the case it's usually 4-pin. But it has a little slot where the 3 pins line up where you attach it. Okay. Deal with this. Not a lot of room here. Try it. Alright, there he goes. That's him. And the next one I have here, this is, there we go, a header cable USB. You guys can see that's where the US header cable is. And there's always one on your case. It's also lined up because there's a pin missing. If you guys can see that. So it lines up with the missing pin. Oh, I gotta get lined up here. I like my case, but this fan shroud always gets in my way. And there it is. It's in. That's all my wires are in, guys. I'm not gonna get into my cable management right now, but all the wires are in. I'll fix my cables and everything later, but I'll try to zoom in here see if you guys can get a better look at them. Most of the wires are right here towards the edge, right next to where my power supply shroud meets. So it was pretty crowded over there. So there's like all my connections are right at the edge of the motherboard, right on this edge down here. HD audios in the back here, USB headers right here. The 3.0 USB header was right here, and the switch for the reset. Let me go back a little bit for the reset, power, HD lights, and everything right here. So that's what most of the cables are. This cable I will be in here. I'm going to be putting in the main 24-pin connector. And that's that huge connection on your motherboard. Let's see. Let me zoom in on it. Want you guys to see this. There it is right here. Right next to my RAM. That's when I use 24-pin ATX power connector. And that one's connected right there. There's 2 more connectors, which I did before. I couldn't do it because it was just too cramped. You guys wouldn't even be able to see it, but there's 2 more connectors right in the back here, right next to my CPU. I can't even, it's so cramped in there, I can't even get it on the video, but it's right next to my CPU. That's where my CPU cables go. I have 2 on my motherboard. Okay. Yeah, but you guys can't even see them. They're so cramped in there. I didn't have any way to show you guys, so sorry if you guys didn't see those 2 connections, but it's too cramped in there for you to see it. And that's it, guys. All the connections are connected. Down the bottom here, main power, CPU, everything's connected. The graphics card, and that's it. She's done. All that's left to do is plug it in and see if it boots. Guys, I wanted you guys to see the back of this case here before I stop. On the back of this case, you guys can see I have slots for SSDs and everything, but I won't be using any SSDs in this machine. Well, not the regular ones. I'll be using the NVMe SSDs, so I won't be needing these SATA cables. The only reason I'll be needing one of these is for my RGB control unit right here, which uses it for the power control. So that's all I'll be using that for. Okay. Alright guys, this is the final stretch. I got everything hooked up, got my monitor hooked up, I got my wires cable managed. Let me show you guys that. You guys can see that. I did some cable management work on my wires, as you can see. A lot of zip ties. Zip them down to the points on the back here. So you can see it's a little better than it was when I first started. Now, the edge here. Oh, got to take the plastic off. There we go. Get that out of the way. Alright, let's power it on. Oh, well, gotta be plugged in first. Alright, let's power it on now. There it is. So far, so good. Lights on. Fans are spinning. RGB lights on. Right. Now let me turn it around so you guys can see the front. There's the front, the RGB lights of the case. There it is. It pulls, but there's no monster keyboard hooked up. But as you can see, guys, everything's on and running. No issues. We go here closer to the screen. You guys can see. My CPU, memory, everything. So everything's all good. It detected everything on the boot up. So all I have to do next is install my operating system, a little fine tuning on my memory here, because I'm probably gonna be overclocking this. But you know, everything else looks pretty good. Everything is running. So that's it, guys. This is the end of the build. Everything came up, it posted. It's ready to go. All I have to do now, put my operating system in, overclock when I'm ready to overclock it, and that's it. That completes the build, guys. I thank you guys for watching the video, and I'm hoping it's helpful to someone. Thank you guys. Bye bye.